So, the last video was about the holographic universe and non-commutative or non-commutativity. And so, if you read the comments that I posted, essentially what non-commutative phase does is it extends the time frequency uncertainty principle in science. But as Alon Collins points out, is that the time frequency uncertainty actually originates from the non-commutative phase. And this is something I figured out on my own from just training in music, and then I realized that it's the secret of non-Western meditation. So in science, another way they say this by extending the uncertainty principle is that there's an increase in non-locality, and it's quantum entanglement. And so then, in terms of the holographic principle, the claim is that the universe is actually creating new matter due to the curvature of space-time itself as a five-dimensional black hole that's non-local itself. And how this is achieved in science is that they're testing this with graphene, and part of this is the speculation on how the top secret technology is used for anti-gravity propulsion, and as a metamaterial. And so basically with graphene, this is what Stuart Kaufman and Roger Penrose also claim is what's happening in our brains with tryptophan and tubulin as pi resonance molecules that are like graphene, have the hexagon, and so you have these bonds that have extra electrons that are inherently non-local and enable quantum tunneling, and so they remain in a quantum entangled state, so you can create a current with no resistance as a room temperature super radiance or super conductivity. And so then, in terms of science, this is used. They can use this to create new matter, just as the universe creates new matter, so that the graphene will mimic a holograph with photons, because you have no resistance. So it's like a zero mass relativistic effect where you're creating new matter through the layering of the one-dimensional graphene. And so this mimics what's called a weak measurement in quantum physics that the Yakir Aronoff, his research group, has validated. So the Aronoff-Bohm effect is something that was also corroborated by my own quantum mechanics professor, Herbert J. Bernstein, along with separately also by Lenny Susskind, who's working on the holographic universe model as well. So that when you, my Professor Bernstein, he tested with neutrons with no charge, so that proving that you can actually see the quantum spin that's non-local as the fifth dimension. And so the quantum spin is inherent to what is causes the number of electrons in the different shells and the quantum jump, and so the question is where the electrons and the photons, where is the light coming from? And that's why you have to include relativity in quantum physics, because with graphene you're showing that you can actually create a charge using from the virtual photons themselves. And so you're using the chirality or the asymmetry as that handedness, left hand or right hand, as a spin difference of the light, so that the light inherently, even though it has a zero rest mass with a neutral electric charge, that there's an inherent spin due to the non-commutative phase of time itself. So the chirality is dealing directly with the energy as frequency proportionate to the momentum before there's any spatial as a collapse of the quantum wave function. And its amplitude for mass as space, as a spatial measurement, as wavelength. And so in music and in meditation, this is also directly what we experience as time and energy before there's any spatial wavelength measurements done through logical inference. And this is called the Zeno effect. So the Schwinger effect is where you have an external electric field that then is able to extend the quantum uncertainty of time frequency, thereby enabling the creation of new matter from the virtual energy field. And so graphene is able to achieve this Schwinger effect because you're having a stabilized overlapping of the high resonance in different layers, so you're able to resonate the one-dimensional into the two dimensions plus the time. So you're converting time back into space, and this is what metamaterials frequency from time to density energy. And so they call this a sub-wavelength energy or sub-observable, because it's based on the quantum Zeno effect. Once you make the measurement with an external technology of light, then it collapses the quantum entanglement or the nonlocality. So in other words, we're relying on the non-commutative form as the form of Jack Jasinski's research group also argues is that this is why the roots of plants are similar to the brains of humans, or that the small intestine is the neurons of the second brain, and a human is similar to like the root, the leaves of a plant taking in light. So this is why it has to be non-commutative.